When we think of a saver, we think of somebody who is has the virtue of saving their money. But a lot of those people, if they're young, inflation is not a serious risk for them. If you think about what is their greatest asset on their personal balance sheet, it's their ability to earn money in the labor market. That asset today, as we're talking, is on fire. I mean, we have a 9% unemployment rate. It doesn't look like there's an end to that. So if we talk about what's a risk to the American saver, if we become very focused on inflation as hurting the American saver, we may risk actually hurting a large number of people if our monetary policy is too tight, who would like to be saving, but they simply don't have the income to be able to save. Now, to convert that from a statement to a question, what's your take on whether or not that's actually on the menu of policy options? In other words, do you think that the reason we shouldn't err on the side of a looser monetary policy is that the risk of inflation outweighs what could be gained in improved job growth, lower unemployment rate, or is it that you think that actually can't be achieved, that there would be side effects and we wouldn't actually get the lower unemployment that we want?
If we had a great culture of savings, and it was one of the bedrock virtues of the American people right now, then I might be willing to make a case saying, gee whiz, let's be careful about inflation because it will destroy this essential, important character. But I don't think that's the case. Therefore, I think arguments against inflation and the various policies that might lead to it have to stand on other grounds than this question. So this question isn't really about, this isn't a backdoor way of having a fight about monetary and fiscal policy. We're not really talking about monetary and fiscal policy and labeling it savings. This is really an interesting and important question that accompanies the issue of how can we want thrift, because thrift is really great for society. And oh, by the way, are we doing an injustice to people by encouraging thrift at this juncture, since we have tremendous uncertainty about what our fiscal and monetary policy is going to bring to us? So if we're reaping the whirlwind, gosh. So responsibility requires us to address the question, but I wouldn't try to use savings to judo flip into the monetary fiscal policy debate.
So are you saying, though, that inflation in some cases could be desirable or morally justifiable?
Well, if the question on the board is, do I think inflation is a good policy, I stand, Sean, with you and others. I think it's a disaster. I think it's a bad idea. If we want a strong economy, a growing economy, a strong America, I'm mortally afraid of inflation. So I think there's plenty of good reasons to oppose the current fiscal and monetary policy that the administration is following. But I think, and therefore, and by the way, because I think they're playing a dangerous ground, I think inflation is a very real threat, and therefore the Thrift Project needs to always have an eye on it, because and so issues of like how do we make sure the savers have instruments that can withstand inflation are important, lest a very worthy project begin to succeed and be derailed by what I think is a horrible mistake that we're making.